What is going on, beautiful? The corniness, love it. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Forever podcast, where we shall live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host. What? It's like the head. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have the flabbergasted, the laughing, the beautiful galactic curly queen herself. Please introduce yourself to the people.
What's up, party people? My name is Sinclair, aka
The Health Nerd.
Here joining you on a beautiful Saturday
evening for sure. It's been a day, y'all. First of all, if somebody faints during this podcast, if somebody faints, it might be me, it might be her. You don't know. Just look out for us. All right, pray on it. But before we get into it, first off, shout out to Angel, who just favorited the podcast. Shout out to all the listeners out there. We get the feedback, we get the love. The random folks that we work with, our random friends giving us some love, so we appreciate it. We 61 episodes deep. It's been, what I'm saying, out here doing it. Again, y'all heard the name. Shout out to Jair, always holding us down in the background. But we're over almost 2 years in at this point, so we definitely appreciate y'all rocking with us. So the topic for the day.
What happened was
the topic for the day is managing stress, but more specifically, I'm probably gonna mess up the quote. But not to put you on blast, Queen, but the Queen was having a little bit of a difficult week about 2 weeks ago.
Week before last, yes.
Yeah, week before last. It was a little bit of a difficult week. We've all been there, right? We've all had those highs and lows. And what last week was a little bit of a low for the Queen. And I said something around the effect of what you do in the valleys will determine if you ever see another mountain. Right, because the valleys are low points in life, which we all find, and the mountain is those high points in life, which hopefully we all definitely experience at one point of our life. So we wanted to kind of talk about a few valleys that we've been in, but more importantly, how you can determine how you react to stress, how you react to being overwhelmed. That way you can crawl, climb, hike, scratch your way out of that valley. Does that sound good, Queen?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode. I heard him, Queen. All right. Welcome back, y'all. We're going to dive right into it. First off, another reason why I want to do this episode now is because a lot of, at least UC folks, and even CSUs or semesters, college students, like they're graduating and you're starting to transition into life, right? A lot of students are, applying for jobs, applying to grad school. And I feel like it's a transition time for a lot of college students. Also, kind of, I feel like adults usually find jobs during the summer too. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I'm in education, so it makes sense for me.
Yeah.
But it's a transition time. When you transition, you could come with a little bit of stress. So I think this is going to be a good time for our college students out there watching, or anyone who's trying to transition or actively transitioning from one stage to the next. You may be actively experiencing this valley. You may be actively experiencing this low. So we're going to, first off, give examples of valleys that we've been through and kind of how we've overcome those. And then we're going to get into like, what is stress? How do you manage stress? And all that good stuff. Queen, I feel like I know the answer, but do you want to go first? Or do you want to go second in an example of a valley or a stress? You want to go second? Ha!
Shocker!
Whoa! This never happens. All right. So I'll go first, and there's a lot of valleys that I can go through. Yeah, thank you. Brush my shoulders off. Appreciate you. And feel free, if y'all are watching this live or on the replay, like y'all can definitely go ahead and put a valley you've been through and how you've overcame it. But myself graduating from college, I felt very stressed because this queen over here got like a job offer before she even graduated. I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I made that a mission.
Yes, you did. Very, very well done. I'm sure you were very meticulous. You planned it out. You went to the fairs. You did all your good stuff. Me, maybe I didn't do what I could have done. But watching her have a job solidified, and back then we were just dating. So I was like, dang, how you going to date somebody? She's a great grown out there, got a full time engineering job, and you got no jobs. I was stressed. I went to this conference. God, what was that name of the conference? But it was like a
Irrelevant.
yeah, irrelevant. It was a recreational conference. It was out there in Kissimmee, Florida, I believe. And at the conference, the point of going to there was to one get a job, right, priority. But then secondary priority was getting a scholarship to grad school. Now, I didn't tell the queen this at the time, and
No, he didn't.
I feel like I told this story to her, and she was
It
like,
makes me
"What?
mad every time.
What?"
Every time.
Listen, it's that pride. It's that pride, y'all. And I'm trying to tell this story because someone needs to hear it. Someone who may be going through something similar and they're too prideful to ask for help. First off, ask for help before I even get into the story. Ask for help when you're in that valley, right? But I went out there. I was broke. I had no money. I had money barely enough to get there, get a rental car, but I really didn't have money like that for food, really didn't have money like that for a hotel. So, long story short, during this conference, I slept in the car. Kissimmee, Florida, sleeping in the car 3, 4 days. Every morning, I would wake up at like 5 a.m. to go in, sneak into the hotel, and I don't know how I got into the hotel. Like either there was a door open, I just waited for someone to open the door, slid in through, had to go into the bathroom, did a little bird bath, brush my teeth, wash my face, put my clothes on, all that good stuff, right? And I did the trick on putting water on your clothes and you let it dry, and then if you don't have an iron, you just as the water evaporates, your clothes sometimes knock the wrinkles out. There you go. So a little free broke tip for you. Right, take it with you or buy an iron, do your thing. But basically every day, I had to do that. And I was still interviewing, still smiling, still like, let's get this job. Very stressful. And it hit me when, yeah, we made it. We here now. But it hit me when I was doing an interview with someone who I kind of knew, and they knew my direct supervisor. So in my eyes, I was like, they about to hook me up. I'm about to do this interview. I'm great at interviewing. They know me. This is a job. This is a slam dunk. They sat there, looked me in my eyes, and said, "We know you don't need this as bad as other people may need it."
Mm. Mm.
And I'm sitting here, I'm sleeping in a car, y'all. I'm waking up 5 a.m. to do bird baths in the hotel, and this person is on the other side of the table telling me, "You don't need this as bad as other people need it." Other people who are sleeping cozy in hotels, by the way, you don't need as bad as them. You're going to be okay. And I heard that. I still didn't quite believe it. I was still stressed out. Long story short, get back to Davis. Still no job. I'm with the mob over there in the TH4 house. Shout out to TH4. They let me stay there for like a month, maybe a month and a half, and then I finally landed my job. This is where I finally got the job working for UC Riverside Community Engagement Outreach. Dope job. And if I never got that job, I would have never worked Village Nation.
Mm.
If I would have never worked Village Nation, the idea to create Black Wall Street, the board game, never would have happened. Right? So just giving you an example, like where you're at right now. It may be very stressful. You may be sleeping out of a car. You may be missing some meals. You may be thinking, dang, why aren't these opportunities coming to me? And maybe it's because it's leading you towards a path that will be, if I would have got a recreational job, I feel like our life would not be anywhere near what we're doing right now.
Right.
I would have went to grad school, right? Would have got a MBA or a master's in recreation, a master's in sports psychology, and I wouldn't have been doing anything I'm doing right now, and possibly wouldn't have made Black Wall Street the board game, which has, humbly changed some lives. It's impacted some families, and that impact may not have ever been felt if I would have just been given a job in recreation.
Yep.
All right. So that's my example. Again, take the lessons that you want out of that. But that man told me, he was like, other people need this more than you. And maybe he knew that I would do what it took
Right.
to make a position happen, to make prosperity come my way. So shout out to Seneca. I see you, Seneca. You know what I'm saying? You out there, you a motivational speaker out there doing your thing. Thanks, Seneca, for your words of wisdom. All right.
It's
Go
so
ahead,
interesting because it's like, yeah, they probably had no idea,
no idea.
like what would have happened. But the fact is that they were right.
Right.
It's crazy to think that even though you were sleeping in a car, they were still right because you just have that incredible ability to get things done and just like go all the way. But I feel like the average person maybe might fall a little short. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm obviously your biggest fan, so I'm a little bit biased.
Ice
but
cream fan club. You and only you.
False. I feel like it's much bigger than you think.
No, no.
Anyways.
First off, let me rewind. Everybody that I meet, immediately they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your wife. Oh my gosh, the queen. Oh my gosh, what's the queen's name? I don't even know her name. I just call her the queen. She's so great." Everybody. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, but queen, give the folks your example, your value.
So I'm going to start by saying that I should have gone first.
Messed up.
After that very powerful thing. Mine's not going to seem as stressful, but anyways. So this, the example that I have was actually for this property that we were going to get. And it was just the escrow process that we were going through.
This castle that we're in right now.
Correct. The escrow process.
It's not a huge castle for those who are listening and watching. You know, it is our castle though.
It's like CJ in his 1-bedroom shack.
Exactly.
Shout out to Secrets to Success podcast
squad.
So when we had just gotten married. Well, I should first start off with our plan. We had this elaborate idea of we're going to get this property. We started the process early. We started the process in May. We started looking way before that, but we started the official process for this property in May because we wanted to be able to get married and then move into, we wanted just the ideal like situation where you get married and then you move into your spot. So that is what we kind of planned. I'm ultimate planner. So I'm like, this is going to work. The timing, it was working out. It was honestly working out perfectly. It was. However, and what we wanted to do was we wanted to get married. We wanted to go on the honeymoon and then come back to move in. So everything was working out. But keep in mind that we were both first-time home buyers. So it was just a very new process altogether. Didn't really understand what this whole escrow, still don't really know what that means, just a black hole. But but once we entered into escrow, we had a whole bunch of things that just delayed the process. So if you're unfamiliar with the home buying process, basically you make the offer, it gets accepted. Once it gets accepted and you pay the down payment, you then go into escrow. And escrow is where all of the things happen.
Where the magic happens.
I wish I could tell you what happens in escrow, but you come out and then you sign some papers and you got a property, basically. But escrow is supposed to take, I did all the research because that's my type of personality, right? It's supposed to take about 21 days to a month. And we just ours kept getting delayed. And it's just a very frustrating and stressful time because I'll get to why it was stressful in a second. But one of the reasons why it was stressful is because you don't know when it's going to end and you don't know what's happening during. And I don't know if that's the norm, but that was what was happening for us. So it's literally just like we wanted to close, we wanted to move into our spot. And we weren't able to do that. We didn't know why. We didn't know what the holdup was. It was just third-party stuff. And we didn't know when it was going to end. So it was just a limbo process. The reason that what made this extra stressful is because we had already planned and we had already ended our month-to-month lease on our apartment.
Right.
So we were now in the situation where we are going to essentially be homeless if we were not going to be able to get the property in time. So that was just very stressful because I was not sure how, and it ended up working out. But yeah, I was just stressing because, I'm thinking we have a month to month. We're not going to pay for another month. They might have somebody coming into the spot right after us. We don't know. So we're basically going to get kicked out and we're going to have to find someplace to live until this escrow process ends. It ended up working out because I went to talk to the landlord. I explained the situation. Honestly, the minute I mentioned escrow, she was like, say no more. I know how it goes. what we can do
Hecka
is
nice. She could have been a jerk.
she
about it.
really
She
could have been a
really
jerk.
could have been a jerk about it.
But she was like, what we can do is you can just come to me at the beginning of each week and let me know if you need to stay for that week, and I will just charge you for that week. And it was beautiful. I wrote a check for each week. You know, it was broken down. You know, this is what we need another week. And I think we ended up staying for an additional. It ended up, I think, being a full another month. But yeah, it did end up working out. All of the timing ended up working out. We ended up moving in, and everything. You know, we loved the spot.
Oh yeah,
it's perfect. But yeah, that time period where it was like, I don't know what we're gonna do if we get kicked out of our spot. We did have you know, where we did have your parents who lived kind of close, but still it would have been difficult to make that work. So we really didn't know what we were about to do. So that was pretty stressful. But like I said, it ended up working out. And here we are.